I traveled solo across Southeast Asia and Europe with nothing but a backpack, and today I want to show you exactly how I did it. If you're new here, hi, I'm Rachel, and I'm on a mission to live well. Here we talk about all things travel, spirituality, natural living, financial wellness, and everything in between. So if that resonates with you, I'd love for you to subscribe and stick around. I'm happy you're here. Today, we're going to be talking about how to solo backpack. So what I wish I brought, what I wish I didn't. This will include booking strategies, safety and budget tips, as well as some sample itineraries below if you happen to be going to some of the same places that I did. And on a personal note, solo backpacking changed my life. I grew so much internally, and I truly feel like a different person because of it. So if you're feeling called to it, I highly recommend going and just following that gut call. You will not regret it. And if you're feeling fear, push through anyway and do it. To be completely transparent, the morning of my flight to Asia, I was so nervous with anxiety that I actually threw up before my flight. So if you're scared to do this, it's totally natural and totally normal. But the growth and the joy that is on the other side of fear is absolutely endless. Okay, so we're gonna jump into what to pack and what to leave behind. So for my entire trip, I only packed 2 pairs of shorts, 2 pairs of pants, 4 shirts, one specifically for sleeping, and then 1 nice outfit so I could feel better and dress up once in a while. I also had 2 swimsuits. One was an athletic one that I could wear for surfing, adventuring, and the second was a really easy string bikini that I could take on and off under a towel very easily. And this way, if one was wet from earlier in the morning, I could have a dry one for the afternoon. I also only brought 2 pairs of shoes. I brought a pair of sneakers and I brought a pair of sandals. One thing that I wish I did was make sure that your sandals are waterproof. I brought my Birkenstock Arizonas. They go with everything, but they're not waterproof, and I often had to barefoot water hikes and a lot of water activities that I wish I just had my sandals be waterproof for the whole time. There are some good, really low-key options that can go with a lot of outfits and don't look like water shoes. One could be, the black Tevas, the tan Tevas, and I can link a few below that are really low-key, easy options. Next is a debit card. Please make sure that you bring a debit card. Other countries use cash a lot more than we do in the US. So if you have a debit card, you're able to take cash out of the ATM. Just make sure that you take your card out afterwards. In America, you put your card in and take it out and then do the transaction. In Southeast Asia, a lot of places, you put your card in, you do the whole transaction, and at the very end, after it gives you money, then you can take your card out. I have had countless friends accidentally leave their card in the system because it was different than their home country. Just please remember to take your card out. Make sure that you bring a credit card with no international fees. When you're not paying in cash, you are going to want to pay with an international fee-free credit card. It's way better and safer than using a debit card. Capital One is one of my favorites, and I can link a card below that has really good perks, no international fees, and isn't too challenging to qualify for. Next, I would bring a hat. I don't really wear hats a lot in Austin, but when I was abroad, I was wearing a hat all the time. You're gonna be out in the sunshine a lot of the day. So having a hat to protect you, to wear on hikes, wear out on your walks, it actually goes a really long way. Next is to pack a travel towel. These towels can fold up so tiny and small, but go a really long way when you have those beach days, you go on a water hike, you need to dry off really quickly. Make sure you look up a microfiber towel. They're the ones that dry the easiest and fold up the smallest. Next is to bring a carabiner. These are little hooks. They can hook onto your backpack. They are sneaky extra storage space because they don't count on buses and planes as extra storage, but you can easily hook on your sneakers, hook on your water bottle, and you don't have to have the pressure of fitting them into your backpack. Next is a Life Straw water bottle. This is a game changer, especially in countries with water that isn't safe to drink. It has a filter within the water bottle that filters out any dirty water. So I would always buy water bottles that came filtered, but God forbid they weren't open or I couldn't find a store to buy one from. I could technically fill up the Life Straw water bottle with tap water, and it really changes the game. Something I didn't have, but I kind of wish I did, was a burner phone. So many of my friends that I met abroad traveled with one of their old iPhones or their old flip phones even, just to have it in case. Sometimes there's theft, sometimes there's accidents, you spill water on your phone, shit happens, and they don't have the same accommodations and amenities and Apple stores or whatever carrier you have, they don't have them readily available the way that we do in the US. Highly recommend just having a backup. Next is to bring a small lock. Trust me, you are going to want to be able to lock up your stuff when you're sleeping at night or when you leave the hostel for the day. Everyone can be very friendly and nice, and you can make amazing, incredible friends at the hostel. But at the end of the day, you don't know anyone. And you're trusting them with your possessions, your passport, your money. Just bring a lock and lock it up. It'll give you the peace of mind that you need to have a calm day. Next is to bring a journal. I'm going to touch on this a little bit later in the video, but having a journal to track your progress, track what you're doing, have something to look back on is so nice. You can do this at a coffee shop. You can make this a regular thing in the hostel's common area. A lot of people always would come up to me and say, I love that you're journaling. I want to start doing that. And it actually ended up being a connection point for a lot of travelers with me. But now that I'm home, looking back on my old journals is one of my favorite things to do. This is very specific to women and Southeast Asia. If you are a woman, I highly recommend bringing tampons that you like if that's what you use. I didn't know this when I went abroad. I barely brought any period products because I figured women get periods all over the world. But it turns out that there are no plastic applicators, at least very few amount in Southeast Asia. So if you want your creature comforts from home and what you're used to, just pack them. And these are a few quick things I would definitely leave behind. The first is makeup. You will not be needing to wear makeup abroad. In fact, I took it as a challenge to myself to be more comfortable in my own skin by completely leaving it behind. To be completely transparent, I honestly don't really wear makeup in general, but if I'm going out one night, it is nice to be able to have a little something to make me feel better about myself. I left it all behind. Also, I left behind all jewelry. This was a physical challenge as well as a mental challenge. You don't realize how much you use jewelry, the clothes you wear, the makeup that you put on to almost hide behind a mask. I used traveling abroad where no one knew me, no one knew who I was, to completely unplug with nothing to cover up. And honestly, it helped me grow a lot. It also lessened the load externally. I didn't realize on my trips how much I was nervous about losing my favorite necklace, losing my favorite rings, keeping my makeup on when I was sweating. I got to take all of that, save the space, save the mental capacity, and just feel comfortable in my own skin without anything to cover it up. This goes along with leaving anything expensive. For men, this could be a watch. This could be fancy clothes that you're worried to get dirty. Anything that makes you think twice about the physical object and its importance, leave it behind. Also, you're gonna wanna buy stuff while you're there. I bought this top while I was in Thailand. A lot of the necklaces I wear now, I bought from my trip. You wanna leave space to bring in that newness. And one more thing I'd leave is a raincoat. I was about to pack my heavy duty raincoat from when I lived in Colorado. Not only did it take up a ton of room, it would have been way too hot and heavy for Southeast Asia. They sell rain ponchos at any 7-Eleven for less than $1. They fold up about this tiny and they cover your entire body. It's incredible and better than a raincoat. The next topic is research. So how do I know where to go? The truth is I don't, but I have a few resources that really help me out. My first and favorite is asking the locals. This could be a barista at a coffee shop, the front desk person at your hostel, or even your Airbnb host. The locals know the best spots, and it's also a great connection point showing them that you want to see their home from their point of view. The next two I learned from some great Gen Z travelers, and it is AI and TikTok. I used to look up everything on Google Maps before I went, and I used to just scavenge the area and see if anything appealed to me. My friends told me that TikTok is where they do all of their research. I never had a TikTok before, but now I downloaded it and I look up the spot that I'm going and peruse through other people's posts and see what they've done and if I'm interested. That's how I found in a tiny Thailand island that there was a man who does custom sarongs. That was one of my favorite activities I did, and I wouldn't have found it without TikTok. I also go to Claude or ChatGPT and put in where I'm going, how long I'm staying, what kind of activities I like, and any limitations I have. And I created a sample prompt below that you can use for free to start your planning. The next section is on safety tips. It's not something we want to talk about, but it's something very practical. And the first tip I have is sharing your location with loved ones. This can be people from home or even people you met abroad that you trust and are surrounding yourself with. You can always turn this feature off, or after you leave a city, delete people. But having a trusted person who has your location can honestly help you a lot. This can be whether you're going out with new people and just want someone to know that you're getting home safe, or God forbid, you leave your phone at a restaurant or in an Uber and your friend can track your phone for you. The next is to trust your gut. I know this is simple advice, but usually your intuition tells you when a situation is bad. Listen to it. If you feel like a situation might be sketchy, trust your gut. Your body knows the answers. And the last security tip is never give your passport as collateral if at all avoidable. Some people use it as a security deposit for getting a moped, putting a deposit down at a hostel. But it is way better to pay a higher cash deposit than your passport. You can always somehow figure your way out of a money situation, but if you lose that passport, you're screwed. Next, we're moving on to booking strategies. I always start by looking at Hostel World. They don't just give ratings to the rooms, they also tell you what the vibe of the spot like, the kind of people you're likely to meet, how party focused it is, how loud it is, how good the food is, and you'll know all of this on top of the accommodations and location. You can also look up hostel reviews on TikTok. They give similar rundowns and recommendations, and I actually found my favorite hostel that I stayed at from a TikTok recommendation. Just make sure to look out for paid ads that could be a little misleading. A budgeting tip is try to book through the actual hostel's website. You can find them on Hostel World, find them on TikTok, but if possible, go through their website. You can avoid the extra fees that the third-party systems add on. You can do this by calling your hostel directly or paying cash up front when you get there. Or if you're staying in an Airbnb, you can ask the host for a discount if you're planning on staying there for a longer amount of time. For flights, I always look on Skyscanner or Google Flights, but I always book through the actual carrier. Booking directly through the airline offers you extra security if God forbid anything happens, and you also usually get the best deal because again, you're not paying those third-party fees. And even if it is more expensive, it's worth it knowing you have peace of mind if anything happens to your trip. Next, we're talking about eSIMs. So I used to have physical SIM cards that I used to change out of my phone every time I traveled, and every new country I'd have to get a new SIM card. Not only does this disable your American SIM card or wherever your home country is, but it's also hard to keep track of it all. And not only that, new iPhones don't even allow you to change out your physical SIM card anymore, so eSIM is the only way to go. While I was abroad, I mostly used Saily. I will say they had problems in other countries. So in Thailand, Saily was great. In Bali, it could not be worse. I basically paid for a SIM up front and wasn't even able to use it because the service was so bad. So just definitely do your research on which eSIM is best for each country. And you can also buy a small amount of gigabytes and just test them out and see which one works for you. T-Mobile also has a great free international plan if that's your home carrier. That's what I use. And while I was in Bali and my eSIM didn't work from Saily, I actually just used my T-Mobile free plan, which worked great. And you also get a lot of free Wi-Fi on flights with T-Mobile. The last section is dealing with loneliness. Traveling solo is bound to come with some loneliness. Leaving my job and traveling solo was one of the best things I ever did in my whole life, but it also came with a lot of pain and isolation. Just because you're abroad, it doesn't mean every single day is going to be rainbow and sunshine all the time. There's actually this funny, I think it was an SNL skit with Adam Sandler, where it was a joke, but it's so true. He said, just because you're going to Italy, if you're sad in America, you will still be sad in Italy, because wherever you go, there you are. Now, I know this is a more serious personal part of the video, but when you're feeling uncomfortable feelings, lean into it. When you give yourself the space to feel whatever it is you're feeling, your body will start giving you answers. There were times when I missed my people from home and I felt lonelier staying in active, bustling hostels than I did when I was completely alone at an Airbnb. So listen to yourself and know what you need. Approaching people alone while traveling is completely normal. Everyone does it. And most people are in the same boat as you anyway. So have confidence in yourself that you will meet and attract the right people at the right time. And just go with the flow. Keeping a journal on you to write and process your feelings is one of the healthiest things I did. I know I touched on it a little bit earlier in the video, but having that to look back on, see where you were sad, see where you were happy, you can track your progress and see how you're growing. And the last tip is don't forget to call or voice note your loved ones. It's easy to self-isolate when you're on the other side of the world, but really try to stay connected with the people you love and who love you. It's genuinely a really grounding force when you're facing everything new alone. You've got this. And that's all my tips for this first video. I'm going to be making another video with more backpacking tips and tricks. And I can also go over the differences specifically between Europe and Southeast Asia, because it's a very different experience backpacking through those two. And if you liked this video, I think you'll like the video I'm linking at the end on my self-regulation tools to tap back into myself. I used this tool so many times while I was abroad. It goes into what to do when you're feeling off, which is bound to happen at least once in your trip. And if this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to stick along. And if you do have any comments or questions, feel free to comment below, or there's a link on my website if you want to reach out directly to me. And happy travels.